Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
We've got live Oregon events going on here on the University of Oregon campus as we welcome you inside the Country Financial Studio in the Casanova Center. A lot going on here during overlap season. This is like an adrenaline rush part of the year for all of us around Oregon athletics because you get postseason for winter sports. That begins tonight for Oregon women's basketball. The Ducks are in the Big Ten tournament. The number 11 seed Oregon Ducks taking on the 14 seed Purdue. It'll be around 5:30 this evening. So full disclosure, the tournament basically starts and then it's 25 minutes in between games, and then Oregon is the third game. So, you know, we've estimated a bit because Indiana and Nebraska are going to play here coming up this afternoon if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. They just got rolling, actually. And then Nebraska, or as mentioned, Indiana, Nebraska, and then Wisconsin and Illinois will play 25 minutes after the Indiana-Nebraska game wraps up. And then Oregon and Purdue will play 25 minutes after that Wisconsin and Illinois game wrap up. So no matter what, I can tell you Chris Clayton's going on the air at 5 o'clock Pacific time. We know that Chris Clayton is going on the air at 5 o'clock Pacific time. Now, if that game tips off at 5:01, well, Chris is there for you. If it tips off at 6:01, Chris is still going to be there for you. About 5:30 tonight, Oregon women's basketball. Postseason begins, and for some Oregon sports, postseason is already upon us, and that's true for Oregon track and field. The Ducks garnering multiple honors after their Big Ten championship runs for both the men and the women of Oregon. And they're also now sending 23 qualifiers to the indoor championships. Let's begin, though, with those honors. Simeon Birnbaum earned Men's Track Athlete of the Championships, and the Ducks head coach Jerry Schumacher was named Big Ten Coach of the Year for a second year in a row on the men's side. Congratulations to Misters Birnbaum and Schumacher. I just sounded like Jerry Allen right there, didn't I? Jerry always says, like, Mr. Yeah, I stole that from Jerry. Birnbaum's only a sophomore, and he was really integral in Oregon's team title. He won the 3,000 meter and the 5,000 meter. And he's got another accolade to his resume because he won Outdoor Track Athlete of the Championships last year as a freshman. Now, for Coach Schumacher, he claimed his second Indoor Coach of the Year honor on the men's side after leading Oregon to its second Big Ten Indoor Championship in as many seasons as the Ducks have been in the Big Ten. Schumacher has won 4 out of 5 of the championships between cross-country, indoor, and outdoor track and field since the Ducks joined the conference in 2024. You want to talk about dominance in Tracktown, USA. That's dominance from Jerry Schumacher and the men and women of Oregon. Now, on the women's side, Shalana Yildiz won the Women's Track Athlete of the Championships. The conference announced it this morning. And I'll tell you what, when you get to read now Jerry Schumacher's name again, he was tabbed as Big Ten Coach of the Year for the second consecutive year. And that's on the women's side. Second consecutive year, Coach of the Year on the men's side and the women's side for Jerry Schumacher. Now, Yildiz is adding to a very long resume. Huge part of Oregon's dominance in distance events, successfully won the mile, the 5,000 meter, and set a facility record in the process. She also placed second in the 3,000 meter, and she was behind her teammate. Yildiz also won Cross Country Athlete of the Year in 2024 and 2025. That resume is starting to get real beefy for Shalana Yildiz. Now for Coach Schumacher, second Coach of the Year honor on the women's side. And again, 4 of the 5 championships between women's cross country, indoor track and field, and outdoor track and field since the Ducks joined the conference. Those trophies have all come to Eugene. When the Big Ten added these 4 former Pac-12 institutions, I think we all thought that for a lot of these sports, they were adding the new favorites in the conference. I mean that, talking about the overlapping seasons, in the spring sports, the Pac-12 has been dominant. In a lot of women's sports, the Pac-12 has been dominant. And then you think about track and field. I think all of us in Tracktown USA understand the value of a strong performance in track and field. The crowning jewel of facilities in track and field in the world is sitting here on the University of Oregon campus in Hayward Field. And yet somehow the NCAA still does not want to make it the permanent host. Yet I could never imagine the College World Series for baseball not being in Omaha and the Women's College World Series for softball not being in Oklahoma City. And I could never imagine the Outdoor Track and Field Championships not being at Hayward Field in Tracktown, USA, that is Eugene, Oregon. But I digress. Track and field here at the U of O is just filled with trophies. Every shelf has a trophy. There's an old adage in media and advertising agencies and, I don't know, various content things that when you start to win a ton of awards, it becomes normal that you win these awards. And so as a result, some of these trophies don't end up on shelves. You have so many of them that they become like doorstops. That doesn't happen at the University of Oregon. Believe me, they're all in very nice trophy cases. But that's what it's starting to feel like, especially in the Big Ten era of Oregon track and field and in the Coach Schumacher era of Oregon track and field. The Ducks have so many trophies, they probably are going to have to rebuild the shelves to display them multiple times at Hayward Field. You know, I've always wondered this, and I've asked some people that design these buildings, like when you put together the designs, do you leave some space? How much space do you leave to write more names on the All-American list, to write more names into the Hall of Fame, to display more trophies? Well, here at Oregon, that's a legitimate problem, particularly at Hayward Field, because there's a new trophy going into a case every year. Good problem to have. Congratulations to Oregon track and field. The Big Ten recognizing, well, a lot of accomplishment. Also, the conference recognizes one student athlete from each team as a sportsmanship award honoree every year. And I think in a climate like the one we're in now, it's nice to remember that sportsmanship is important. Isn't it? The student athletes are chosen, and they usually display various categories, characteristics from different categories. One is sportsmanship, ethical behavior, good academic standing, good citizenship outside of the sports competition setting. And the honorees are now candidates for the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award, and the conference will honor one male and one female student athlete from each institution at the end of the academic year. Well, for Oregon track and field, Aiden Carter and Katie Clute are the honors. And when you're on a roster that can be individual driven, you know, you want to win in your sport, but then there's this team aspect to track and field where you want to follow through for your team, score as many points as possible. Aiden Carter and Katie Clute in that sort of environment, recognized by their teammates, by their coaches, by the institutions, and by the conference as the Sportsmanship Award honorees. Now, meanwhile, the Ducks collecting 23 NCAA indoor qualifiers. So remember, the NCAA indoor championships now are on the horizon. They will take place March 13th to 14th in Fayetteville. I admit, it's not Tracktown, USA, but there is a nice indoor facility there to compete for some championships. 23 national qualifiers for the 2026 NCAA Indoor Championships next weekend. The men of Oregon will send 15 entries to the national meet, and the women will have 8 scoring chances in Arkansas. Individually, Shalana Ildes, Elliott Cook, Tomas Palfrey are all double qualifiers in the mile and the 3,000 meters. Cook and Palfrey are also 2 of the 5 Oregon men qualified in the 3,000. 5 Oregon men qualified in the 3,000. Okay, it's Tracktown, USA. At times, the Ducks have been known for various field events. Maybe decathletes, heptathletes. At times it's been sprints on the women's side. Now it seems to have settled back in, though, that the distance is what Oregon is known for. Just look at the results in cross country. Look at the results from this last Big Ten championship meet. Oregon is very well represented in the distance heats coming up in the NCAA indoors. The final qualifiers, the top 16 declared in each event, and the top 12 relays were announced yesterday afternoon. The full list is on GoDucks.com, and I'll tell you, it's kind of the usual suspects at this point because Oregon has started to see performances from freshmen, from sophomores. Swan Ailda has been at it for a few years, just to give you an idea. Simeon Birnbaum, you're talking about a guy who's a sophomore right now, winning conference honors. And I think that speaks volumes to what Oregon has been under Jerry Schumacher. The Ducks are winning awards early and often in various careers. The full details are on GoDucks.com, and the team is going to meet with the media this week. We'll have those interviews for you, getting you ready for the NCAA Indoor Championships coming up next week. A lot going on for Tracktown USA. And we talk about postseason. Oregon basketball on the women's side, it tips tonight. On the men's side, now we're getting you ready for Senior Day coming up. We'll break down men's basketball from last night. Oregon baseball with a tough showing. We've got all that for you. And then we're planning on having Nate Biddle here in the Country Financial Studio this week. I really look forward to, for lack of a better phrase, giving Nate his flowers. We haven't had Nate in the studio yet. He's been banged up. So many Ducks have been banged up this year. And I thought, heading into Senior Day, what better person to represent the program than Nate Biddle, who fought his way back not just from one ankle injury, but then another ankle injury to play down the stretch in his career for Oregon. Says a lot about Nate Biddle, not just the player, but Nate Biddle, the person. We're going to talk through that with him coming up, and I just want to give you some context on what his career has meant here at Oregon. Women's basketball tonight, we're going to get you ready for that tip-off against Purdue. I've got Chris Clayton's game keys, which might actually be just Bev Smith's game keys. Look, that's good resource management. You just talk to the Oregon Hall of Famer in Bev Smith, and you get your keys to the game. We're going to get a timeout, come back, talk a little hoops after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Meditating with Jan from Toyota. Soften your focus and imagine yourself off-roading in a Tacoma. Breathe in, breathe out, and go from dreaming it to driving it today. That's Jan's meditation.
Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity. This is Meditating with Jan from Toyota. Soften your focus and imagine yourself off-roading in a Tacoma. Breathe in, breathe out, and go from dreaming it to driving it today. That's Jan's meditation.
Toyota, let's go places.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say
Postseason is here for basketball. I'm Joey Mack. Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We're in the Country Financial Studio where Ari Long joined Chris Clayton earlier. We have that for you coming up in a moment. First, though, Oregon getting ready for a matchup with Purdue. So the way things shake out in this Big Ten tournament, the Ducks will play around 5:30. It's on Peacock. Indiana, Nebraska in the early session today. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, that one's going on. And then they'll have Wisconsin and Illinois. I should have said the 13 versus the 12, then the 15 versus the 10, and then Oregon in the 11 versus 14 game. Now remember, Oregon played Purdue not that long ago. It was a 71-65 win all the way back on February 25th. That does feel like a long time ago, but it really wasn't. Now in that game, Oregon shot 45%, and it was the Katie Fiso and Ahisa Tute show. It's kind of what it's been, especially without Mia Jacobs. Now, in this game, Mia did not play, which brings me to my first Chris Clayton key to the game. He said balanced scoring, more than just Katie Fiso and Ahisa Tute, because with Mia Jacobs hurt, the Ducks combined for, those two Ducks, I should say, combined for 48 of Oregon's 69 points last game. And in this matchup against Purdue, the only two Ducks in double figures scoring were Katie Fiso and Ahisa Tute. So I feel like someone else could get going tonight. And then I think you have to find a way to slow down Nia Smith for Purdue. You never want to let one person go off and beat you. She scored 20, and she did it shooting 50%, hit 3 threes, also had 4 rebounds and 4 assists. And she played all 40 minutes against the Ducks the last time these two teams played. Now, Oregon, meanwhile, didn't have to play anyone more than 37 minutes in Sophia Bell, but Katie Fiso played 31 minutes in that game. Ahisa Tute played 34 minutes. The Ducks, I think, are a little deeper than this Purdue team. But there's some recency to it, right? And it was a critical second quarter that allowed Oregon to pull away. Remember, it was tied at 17 at the end of the first quarter when these two teams met once before. And then the Ducks doubled up Purdue in the second quarter, outscored them 22-11. It got a little interesting down the stretch. Ducks got outscored by 4 in the fourth quarter, but even though it got maybe a little bit too close for comfort in that game, the Ducks were in control. Ended up winning by 6, a 71-65 win, kind of righted the ship on that trip to the state of Indiana. A lot of good the last time Oregon played Purdue. And now, what does this game mean beyond the Big Ten tournament? Well, I think you want to get one in the Big Ten tournament, and you're going to feel pretty good about your berth in the NCAA tournament. I would not consider the Ducks a bubble team right now. Oregon's resume is, I think, really good. I get it. You're the 11 seed in the Big Ten tournament. And there's probably some people out there that are scratching their heads like, I don't know, really, Joey? Like, you don't think that could be a bubble team? The Ducks are 20-11. Sure, they'd like to have finished a little better in the Big Ten standings. They went 8-10 in probably the best women's basketball conference. The Ducks are 26 in the net rankings right now. If the net rankings matter as much as we're told they do, then Oregon's in. Oregon's in. 26 is a very, very respectable net. But the Boilermakers are 13-16, 5-13 in Big Ten play. They're 71 in the net. So even a neutral site loss here could hurt Oregon's, well, it would hurt Oregon's resume. It could really hurt their seeding and berth in the NCAA tournament. So I think you got to get it done tonight, and all of us will feel a little bit better about the days ahead. And then if you win this game, you advance to what is considered Game 7 of the Big Ten tournament. It'd be the evening session against Maryland, the number 6 seed. And remember, the Ducks did have a little bit of success against that Maryland team. Not a lot of teams had a lot of success against Maryland. The final game in the month of January, the Ducks won that game 68-61. Maryland was then ranked number 16 in the country. Ducks have had some success against the good teams like Maryland. Let's see what happens. Tonight, 5:30, Chris is on the air at 5 o'clock no matter what. The rest of Chris Clayton's keys: force some turnovers. Because he noted that the last time these two teams played, listen to this number. This is staggering. Oregon had 31 points off 21 Purdue turnovers. The Boilermakers had 8 points off 11 turnovers. Turnovers are always a key. I hear Dane Altman talk about turnovers like 5 times a day. I think Kelly Graves probably does too. So you got to force some turnovers. Ducks had that big of an advantage and only won by 6 points. They were 31-8 points off turnovers, and they only won by 6 points against Purdue. So you look at that, you say, okay. It's a little different, though, I think, when you're on the road at Purdue's gym. Part of why there was a bit of a discrepancy there, I think, one of my keys is rebounding the basketball. Purdue had an advantage of 40-27 in rebounds. And really, if this next category doesn't go a wash, we're having a different conversation. Because get this, Oregon was down 13-7 on the offensive glass, but each team had 14 second chance points. Oregon was way better at converting the second chances on the offensive glass. And finally, transition defense was Chris's key for tonight. Couple quick slashing guards. I mentioned one of them in Smith. McCarthy ended up going, a forward that is, but McCarthy ended up going for 18. We'll see. Postseason play. Big Ten women's basketball tournament is underway. The men's Big Ten tournament coming up next week. We'll get you ready for that in a little bit more detail here on the horizon. I'm excited for what women's basketball, though, can do down the stretch. Not just in the Big Ten tournament, but in the NCAA tournament. I feel like Oregon's got a lot of good pieces, and if Mia Jacobs is able to work her way back, Coach Graves had been saying, hopefully it's a postseason, she could return. And that's one thing that's a benefit with just the way the schedule falls with women's basketball. Remember, the Big Ten tournament is this week, and then they actually get a week off next week. Get healthy, and then the NCAA tournament starts. I like Oregon's chances. I'm excited to watch that game tonight. 5:30, about. 5 o'clock, Chris Clayton goes on the air for the pregame show, no matter what. We're going to get a timeout, and when we come back, let's hear a bit from Ari Long. Great interview that Chris had in the studio as we get ready for women's basketball here in the postseason tonight. Ari Long sitting down with Chris Clayton coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas.
Congratulations on getting your diploma.
You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's Unstuck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. Women's basketball tonight against Purdue. The Ducks begin their Big Ten tournament run, their postseason run this evening at 5:30-ish on Peacock. Chris Clayton's got a 5 o'clock pregame show for you no matter what. Ari Long sat down with Chris Clayton, voice of the Oregon women's basketball team. And I'll tell you, there's been a lot of games this year where Ari Long's been a difference maker for the Ducks. I think you'll enjoy hearing and getting to know Ari Long a little bit talking with Chris Clayton.
Ari Long is in studio. Oregon Ducks guard, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So we talked to you last year, brought you in studio, but this year you're in a different role in this team. You're into the starting lineup. You're playing a ton of minutes here this year. What's it been like adjusting to this new role this year, not just a bench spark, but starting the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a dream come true, honestly. I think, all your life growing up, you just want to be in these big moments. And for me, it's just super surreal. And it's just really fun to be able to try to start out the game well with my teammates and kind of get it going instead of being that one coming off to try to help elevate it. But, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
One thing that's been really strong about this year's team is your ability to get disruptions and block shots and steals. And you're certainly a big part of that, defensively leading the team in steals. What is it about your game that allows you to rack up so many deflections and steals and disruptions?
Yeah, I think honestly just kind of my knack for the ball and quickness, I guess. I feel like a lot of times when I'm guarding people, I just try to like poke at it when they're not expecting it, I guess. And then sometimes it'll lead to something, sometimes it won't. But yeah, I think just trying to be in the right spots and let the ball come to me, or if not, just trying to make something happen with my hands.
Maybe for the young players that might be listening or watching this, how do you do it without fouling? Because I can't offhand think of any game where you've actually gotten in bad foul trouble and you're still so disruptive. So what is that? What's the art of that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I've always just been harped at like swipe up. So when you swipe down, it's a foul, but when you swipe up, I mean, for the most part, refs aren't as quick to call it. So I just kind of try to swipe up, especially if they're just kind of like holding the ball stagnant. I'm like, okay, let me just try to swipe at it real quick, and then hopefully I'll tap it out. If not, then you're still there in front, so.
Right. Well, and offensively, you've obviously made a big impact, too, this year. And thinking about the USC game, you had those 3 clutch threes down the stretch and ultimately being the game-winning shot. And you're from Moreno Valley, California, so Southern California. Did you have a cheering section there for that game?
Yeah, I had so much family there, so it was super awesome, and especially with the outcome of the game. Yeah, it was a fun one for sure.
What did that feel like to get hot down the stretch? I mean, there was some pressure-packed moments. You guys were down, and you were still able to knock them down.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of felt like, when the moment came, I mean, the shot was just, I was like, okay, I got to shoot this, so let me let it fly, and then it just went in, and then it came again, went in, and then got one for me at the end, and it went in. So, yeah, it was super fun. I think my teammates did a great job finding me, and I think we just kind of executed at the end, whether it was me or someone getting a good stop, then coming down and getting a wide-open shot or whatever. I think we all just kind of came together and wanted to finish that game, and we did so.
You talk about close games. There's been a lot of close games this year, some dramatic finishes, and a lot of wins and some losses. How much better do you think this team has gotten in finishing out close games, and where is there still room to grow?
Yeah, I think honestly for us, I think our mindset has been really good throughout. I think we really do fight to the end every game, no matter if it's close or what. Like, we're not going to give up until that last whistle sounds. So I'm really proud of us for that. And I think towards the end, just executing, I think, the small things like getting a stop, getting a rebound, running the play right, things like that. But, those little things we can tweak so that in March we're ready to just, close out those big games consistently.
And you come from very much of a basketball family. You have 5 sisters, so you're one of 6. And did everybody play basketball?
Yeah, so all of us played, 5 of us at the collegiate level. My 3 older sisters went like Division II and NAI, and then my little sister's playing at a Division II in Fresno right now. So it's been super cool watching her in her freshman year. So, yeah.
And your parents are coaches too, right?
Yeah.
So did all your sisters, you guys all go through the same high school?
Yeah, so we all went to Valley View High School. Our mom was our head coach, and then my dad was the coach on the boys' side, but, they would tweak around their schedule so he could get to as many of our games as he could. But, yeah, we all played for my mom. Mason was the last one, so my mom kind of stepped down, and then my older sister actually kind of took over the program, so now it's kind of her taking over running the show. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's been cool. But, yeah, Valley View is a big, long basketball high school.
Well, now it's still going, right? You got your sister coaching. That's really cool. Does your mom text you or your dad even and give you thoughts and feedback on your games?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. My mom, she's at a lot of the games. My dad, too. But, yeah, if they're not able to make it, I'll call them after every game, and they'll just kind of let me know what they saw or what they thought I could be, just be improving on, or what I should work on the upcoming week. And, yeah, my mom always texts me before the game, just kind of reminding me of the little things to just, not foul. She always just reminded me to not foul, so that's another part. But, yeah, they're super supportive. I mean, they're just, the best parents anyone could ask for, and the best coaches, too, raising me and teaching me how to play the sport I love and continuing to allow me to love it. And,
That's really cool. And you graduated from Valley View as the all-time leader in points, threes, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks.
Mm-hmm.
What's the update now? Have your sister, did she break any of those, or is it still you?
I want to say it's still me, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sure she's a sniper, so she could have maybe tried to touch some of the three-point numbers. I don't know if she did, but yeah, if anything.
Yeah.
I actually took the scoring record from my older sister. So my oldest sister, she held it, and then I came in and had to snatch that from her. So
yeah, so the Long family, legendary at Valley View.
Yeah, Valley View. Yeah, big Long family basketball. Yeah.
What do you like to do off the court? What are some of your hobbies? How do you spend your free time?
Yeah, I kind of just like to hang out with my teammates and stuff. I like to go to movies. I like to go thrifting, shopping. I like to eat a lot. But yeah, just kind of, it's really fun to just, especially on like the sunny days in Eugene, to kind of get out and just go play pickleball or go to the park, like go do whatever. So yeah, just kind of whatever the day presents, I try to get out and do something, whether it's something chill or something fun with others or whatever. So
when you get onto game day, what's your system? Do you have a pregame ritual? What's kind of a game day look like for Ari Long?
Yeah, I mean, I go to film and shoot around and things like that. And then after that, it's just kind of eat, get a good meal. I always like to plan like a nice, good meal a couple hours beforehand. And then from there, I'll just kind of go to the gym, be ready. We have our little pregame shooting stuff. But I think for me, it's just a lot of mindset. I just try to get my mind ready and know the scout and just make sure I'm confident going into the game, because I feel like basketball is just a big mental sport. And then, I always look at that text from my mom. She sends that before. And then, just kind of get ready and go to work.
Do you have any music that you listen to?
I'm a chill music kind of girl, so I don't really like the crazy hype stuff. I just kind of like the chill, get me calm, I like a lot of Faye Webster, Claro, just kind of, to soothe me into the game. And then, I can be hype, but I just like to, be chill.
When you think about the rest of the season here, heading into March, heading into the postseason when the games start to get real tense, what do you want to improve on in your game personally?
Yeah, I think for me, just consistency. I feel like from outside the arc, and then just defensively, just knowing that I just want my coach to know I could be someone they could trust at any moment, and my teammates as well. And, I just want to be that, just like that breath of fresh air. Like, okay, come on, guys, we got this. But, I think for me, it's just continuing to work on things, like scoring, just being consistent, and then just defensively, same deal, being consistent.
And this is your first year as a starter. You've got two other teammates who are first-year starters, Katie Fiso and Ahisa Tute. I wanted to ask you about, now that you're second year with the Ducks, teammates with them for a second year, what is the growth you've seen from Katie Fiso from her freshman to sophomore year?
Oh, yeah, her growth has been just insane. I think she's come so far, and she still has so much time to continue to just be more and more of a beast. And she's just, I think, scoring and facilitating and passing, I think she's just grown in so many ways, even from a couple games ago to now. She's just constantly learning, and she's like a sponge. She just wants to know everything, and I think we all do such a good job of just talking to each other, like, hey, what'd you see? I saw this, or hey, you had me here, or whatever, and I think we all just take that super well, and at the end of the day, we all have that common goal of winning. So I think she's a competitor, and it's just so fun to see her and be on the court with her and just see all the growth that she's made.
Same question for Ahisa Tute. I mean, Big Ten Player of the Week, and she's putting up some big numbers this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's tough. I would not want to be on the other team when he's on the court. I think she's just fearless. I think, it doesn't matter how big the other, her defender, who's Gardner, is going to be. She's just going to go up strong. And I think we're just trying to find her, at all times. We're get the ball to Ahisa, whether it's an offensive rebound she gets or defensive. We're just trying to all get out her way so she can go. So, yeah, she's just insane, and I think she's super fun to be on the court with because, if you get her to the ball, it's a bucket every time. So it's super fun to just get some assists on that.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned the communication, you guys talking with one another on the court. It seems like, and talking with some of your teammates and coaches, that the communication between you guys on the court has grown and improved this year. How have you felt that play out on the court?
Yeah, I think it's been super helpful for us. I feel like we all just really trust each other. I think at the end of the day, the communication just kind of tries to help build the trust on the court, and we all just have that common goal, like I said, of win whatever it takes. So I think we all do a good job of kind of giving our input and trying to see what works and what play call or what defensive call, and I think it just builds trust at the end of the day.
No doubt. You're peaking at the right time heading into the postseason. Ari Long, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Ari Long, talking with Chris Clayton. It's been great having a number of student athletes in the studio, and I was talking to Chris about this earlier. Like, there's so many individuals on this women's basketball team now that have been around a little bit, right? And it really is. I know the modern era of college athletics, like it can make it a challenge, but it's been fun to get to know him over the course of now a couple seasons, right? For Chris, this is now his third full-time season behind the mic, and it's been fun to get to know all of these different individuals. Oregon women's basketball postseason start tonight around 5:30. The tip-off on Peacock. 5 o'clock pregame show with Chris Clayton across the Oregon Sports Network. Ducks and Purdue in the Big Ten tournament. Timeout. When we come back, men's basketball last night. I'll tell you, it was a microcosm of the season. What I mean next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby. Better than I've been to myself.
Microcosm of the season. Welcome you back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Why for men's basketball? The inconsistency. There's runs throughout games where the Ducks will give up a 21-0 run, like they did in the first half last night at Illinois. It was an 80-54 final. Illinois at one point went on a 21-0 run, and the Ducks actually trimmed that lead at the end of the first half. Oregon, by the way, led 9-3 at one point early in this game, right? Illinois goes on a run, though, and then you'll hear Coach Altman in a moment as we talk post-game, and the truth is that then Oregon got things going, and then the last few minutes they gave up 8 points to finish the half. Okay, fast forward to the second half. Ducks had an opportunity with Desrick Lindsay. He drove, sliced through the lane, tried to go from the right to the left, finished with the right hand. It rolls off front iron, and you're sitting there going, oh, that's just the way it's been. Sometimes when these shots don't fall. And in that moment, it could have cut the Illinois lead to 10. What happens next? Illinois hits a three from the top of the circle. Ducks don't score their next offensive possession. Then Stojakovic hits an and one, and suddenly it's a 6-0 run when it could have been a 10-point game. Against a team in Illinois that has blown some big leads, truthfully. Like, Illinois has been up double digits in a couple games and then has ended up going to overtime and has lost some of these games. And I think that's what frustrated Coach Altman. Hey, broadcaster admission here. The way I asked him this question, the second question that you're going to hear me ask him, was a little confusing, which is also the microcosm of the season. But in this case, like, what I was trying to get at is it seemed like every time the Ducks have these chances to close, and this has happened a lot this year, they just don't get quite over that hump. Just not hitting enough shots, as Coach Altman put it. And that's really what it's been. Also, a reminder, everybody, if you missed it yesterday, No Way Lin, he hurt his wrist, Coach Altman said, in the Northwestern game. So then the guard play really became Drew Carter, Jamari Phillips, and even at times, like, Des Lindsey handled the ball. Sasha Kobzisti got in as part of that rotation. And Takai Simpkins has been asked to do a lot this year for the Ducks. Well, you can imagine a disappointed Coach Altman postgame last night. Well, Coach, I know that one just didn't go your way. What are your takeaways here?
Well, just the first half, we didn't compete. We got down. We had some good looks. Just not a very good shooting team tonight. We had some really good looks, and then we took some bad shots. We, forced some shots that gave them even more momentum, and got out rebounded 12. We knew going in we couldn't do that. There's just a couple stretches. We had a 12-point game there, and we gave up 8 points to finish the half. Just communication mistakes, bad turnovers, just never gave ourselves a chance, get it down to 10. These guys have blown some big leads. I mean, they're very capable of letting you back in the game, and we just didn't take advantage of it when we had our opportunity.
Well, you talked about one of those in the second half, get it down to making them a little bit uncomfortable, and then I know it seems like that's kind of the microcosm of what you're talking about, right, where some things just don't go your way, and they hit a couple shots, didn't they?
Yeah, but we don't. We didn't hit shots. Guards. At halftime we were 1 for 14 with our guards. You're not. Got to hit some shots. And some of them were not good shots, but a lot of them were good shots we just didn't hit.
Yeah. Where do you go from here now? Getting ready for Washington?
Well, we take the day off tomorrow, and then Thursday, Friday, got to get ready for Washington home finale. We got to do it for Nate. TK, Sasha, we got 3 seniors. We got make them proud. We got to play a heck of a lot better than we did tonight.
Oh, and you think about Nate Biddle, man. He still gives you everything you want.
Oh, without a doubt. He's fight his tail off to get back. He's fought his ass for us. I mean, no, I got no complaints about him. I mean, we wear him out. We got him out there the whole game and playing on tender ankles and still playing.
Here's to getting a good one for Nate, Coach. Thanks for the time.
All righty, thanks.
And that's senior day against Washington now coming up. That was from our post-game show. And you heard, I said to Coach there, this is kind of the microcosm. They hit some shots after you don't convert, and he just said, yeah, we're not hitting those shots. And that has been the truth of this season. Ducks shot 33%, 17% from 3, 5 of 29. But Nate Biddle still gave the Ducks a 15-5 kind of evening. And that's with the defense collapsing on him every chance they get. Nate became the 41st Ducks player to score 1,000 career points earlier this season, has been Oregon's leading scorer each of the last 2 years, the Big Ten's blocks leader a year ago. He'll graduate with the 3rd most blocks in Oregon history, over 175 in his now what I would call illustrious career. He earned 3rd team All-Big Ten honors last season, was named to the All-Big Ten defensive team. He's helped the Ducks to 2 NCAA tournament appearances, was a member of the 2024 Pac-12 Tournament Championship team. Originally from Central Point, scored his career high of 36 against the Huskies last year. Maybe he's got another one of those in him on senior day. He became the first Oregon player with 35 points and 10 rebounds in a game since a guy named Luke Jackson did it in 2004. I know that guy, too. Yeah, he'll be sitting next to me for that pregame show on Saturday at 7:30. That's an Oregon Athletics Hall of Famer in Luke Jackson. Nate Biddle's in the same sentence as him. Look, the season has not gone the way that Oregon wants it to. Fans, certainly, I get it. The broadcaster sounds good when the team's good. Nate Biddle, I hope, gets a standing ovation on Saturday. Because I'll just say this, from my chair, a lesser man doesn't come back from those ankle injuries. He came back ahead of time. He beat the timeline. multiple times. One ankle injury, works his way back, plays. Another ankle injury, works his way back, plays, and is finishing his career. And he has said this now, that he owes the university a lot and he wants to go out the right way. Well, you know what? You're going to get a standing ovation from me, Nate Biddle. I think he deserves it. And I hope that he gets that against the Huskies, and maybe he'll break that career high of 36 points that he set against the Huskies last season. Nate Biddle and the Ducks on Senior Day against Washington on Saturday. Huskies play tonight. We'll see what they have in store for Oregon with that 8 p.m. tip coming up on Saturday. Timeout. When we come back, Oregon baseball rivalry last night. We'll break it down on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
I left my heart in Oregon. Oh, I left my heart in Oregon. Yeah, I left my heart in Oregon.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Oregon baseball with a rivalry matchup after returning from Las Vegas last night. Didn't go the Ducks' way. A 10-6 final. Oregon, though, I think would tell you that the Ducks did not play their best game. A 10-6 final, a lot of free bases allowed to Oregon State. And I think the offense, although the Ducks were able to make it a little interesting in the third, you're not going to win a lot of games when you give up 3 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, even though you score 3 yourself in the bottom of the 8th. Ducks fall 10-6 in the first rendition of 3 in this rivalry series against the Beavers. Mark Wasikowski, anyone who's heard Mark Wasikowski talk after a loss, I don't think any of his words here will surprise you.
What are your immediate thoughts, I guess, after this one?
Sloppy game. It was really sloppy on, I'll stick with us, just on our side. It was sloppy on both sides. I mean, it was awful. Better to win a sloppy game than to lose a sloppy game, but it was a really sloppy game. Didn't think it was a very well-pitched game on either side. And I think that they probably out-pitched us a little bit and out-clutched up us just enough to be able to win the game tonight. But I thought it was an overall very sloppy game.
What were maybe some of the struggles you saw on the mound today for you guys?
Well, I mean, we walked or hit 11 people in 9 innings. And then I think their number was somewhere around 6, which is still a lot. And so, it just we were worse than they were off the mound. And then they had a nice swing by a very good player, their catcher Galloway. He's been a good player his whole career. To cash in 3, and the difference was 4. But nevertheless, I think that the biggest key was the free bases that we gave up, and and that was it.
You mentioned that this game was a little sloppy. How do good teams win sloppy games? How do you win these games moving forward?
Well, you can't be that sloppy, all right? I mean, good teams win sloppy games. I don't know. Good teams probably don't get in many sloppy games is what I would say.
Drew Smith had a nice play at third early on. What's it like having a guy like him on the hot corner in certain situations like that?
Well, I think Drew's played really well in the early season so far, right? I mean, he's played good defense and he's hit very well. He's probably up there amongst some of the nation leaders with RBIs. And I mean, he's a great kid. I mean, he's a real blessing.
What went into the decision of starting Miles today, just over anyone else, Ryan maybe, or Toby Tools?
Toby would, he threw the other day. He wasn't available today. But, Miles, he had a lot of career starts, and so we went with Miles.
Would you like from the team just to stay in the game? And it felt like it got away from you guys, but it was only 10-6 at the end of the day.
There was a lot of fight. We were coming back and had a lot of good at-bats to get the score to 10-6. And then, we just didn't have enough at the end.
It's kind of weird playing these guys in a midweek game, and you have two more kind of going up against them in midweek. Is kind of just weird.
Yeah, I like the old Pac-12, but I don't think anybody ever asked me what we were going to do. I didn't have a piece in that one. I would rather play Oregon State every single year in a weekend series, and probably Arizona State, Arizona, and Stanford, and I really like those days. Those were awesome competition days.
And I know obviously your thoughts are probably on this game and not ahead to Purdue yet, but we don't get you before 10. I think you leave tomorrow. What will be the emotions like just going back there for you?
I don't know. I'll wait and see. It was a special place. They gave me an opportunity. I don't know. I don't know that answer to that one. My mind's still on tonight. Yeah. Good question though.
Do you know what your message is going to be to the team, putting this one in the rearview mirror and looking forward to Big Ten play and starting off? I
was pretty direct with my message tonight, but I don't think I'm going to share that one. Yeah.
He said with a little grin on his face. Again, like Waz is an intense guy. After a game like that, he's going to say, hey, this wasn't good enough. And a guy like Ryan Cooney, who's one of the leaders for this team, as the Ducks now turn the page toward Big Ten play against Purdue, where Waz formerly coached, by the way. That's why that question's about his emotions and going back. Well, I think a leader in Ryan Cooney is going to echo a lot of the same from his head coach.
Reach base via hit in every game so far. What's been working for you early in the season?
Just trying to be as competitive as possible, I think, is really what I've tried to work on the past year. Obviously saw success last year, but for me, just getting a strong start, helping my guys to get on base, especially in that one spot, something I've been focusing on. So, it's been successful so far, and I hope to keep that going.
A pretty extended post-game meeting, I'm sure not totally safe for work, but maybe what's the censored version of what was said and how you guys need to refocus?
Yeah, for us, just get behind our guys. Team loss, we win as a team, lose as a team. It's baseball, learn from it. I think is the most important thing, especially as for an offensive side. I don't think we punished the count as good as we could today, and we're in good spots, but didn't put up the runs we maybe needed to support our staff. So just behind everybody, behind our guys on the mound and in the box.
Yeah, obviously weird setup against them this year with the midweek games. You don't see them for another month,
right.
Another Tuesday game. But what is it? This probably gives a lot of motivation for you guys kind of moving forward, and you get to see them twice again.
Right, yeah, of course. I mean, that's a good baseball team always. Obviously, they're our in-state rival, and, we have a good time competing against them. But, we'll see what happens next time we come around. But, work from it and learn from today.
A couple of singles for you today. You were kind of just putting the ball where they're not. How have you been able to balance just the long ball and maybe doubles, but also just be able to notch singles like that?
Yeah, for me, it's focusing just on hard contact. I think that's something I've been really happy with this year so far, is my consistency of hitting the ball hard. And obviously the extra base hits have come pretty well so far, and I hope to continue that. But getting on base for my team is really what I prioritize, especially, again, in the one spot.
What's kind of different about Angel, just being able to come in as a 18, 19-year-old and do what he was able to do today and what he's done to this point this season?
Right. For me, he's super talented. Obviously, everybody can see that with the performance. But I think it's his mentality, how calm he is at the plate. If you're able to take a closer look at his at-bats, he's very collected with himself and very confident. And I think that's something not a lot of young guys have at this level. And he's going to make him a great player for a long time.
You guys just had a tough 4-game stretch and then come out of it 2-2. What are the positives and negatives you saw out of that?
I think for us, I'll start with the negatives. I personally think losing can't always be a bad thing. It has a lot of learning lessons, and played good teams, especially in Vegas, played great teams, and obviously Oregon State's a good team as well. But being able to just learn from those losses and see how we can improve, and it's going to make us much better in the long run. But also the positives, I think we performed well. I think, we got a great staff, and I'm really excited as an offensive player and playing defensively behind those guys. They're really fun to watch, and they're really good.
You stepped into the leadership role this season. Just as a veteran, how do you continue to push the mentality of these younger guys and keep them on track as the season continues?
Yeah, I think it starts with the coaches. I think they create a good standard and a good culture for us to continue. I've been around here obviously 3 years now, but those guys are leaders too. Angel, for a good example, is not just his performance, but the way he goes about it is also leadership. So it's easy for me to work with those guys when they have those traits too.
You looking forward to any? I guess Big Ten play starts. It's kind of crazy. It's already that time. Right. But what are you looking forward to?
Super excited to just go somewhere new. Left Lafayette, Indiana. Excited for that. Purdue. Haven't played them in my career, so excited for that too. But Big Ten conference is good conference baseball now. It's working up there, and there's great teams, and we're just really excited to get it started.
Did you learn anything new from last year? A lot of guys said it was kind of like travel ball again, getting on flights and stuff like that. Did you learn anything from last year, just how to approach these kind of long trips?
Yeah, obviously my first year in the Pac was closer trips, and but I think it's a greater time for us to bond. Actually, I think that's the best plus is those longer flights, the longer stays in the places we're going is a great time for us to get together and be a team. I think it's been a lot of fun.
What a leadership answer to that question from Ryan Cooney. You're on the road longer. It's basically a longer road trip with your friends. You bond. Well done. Bravo to the veteran answer by Ryan Cooney. Baseball begins conference play on Friday, and I think the assessment of this team so far, we can all agree they've been pretty good, right? Sure, you don't want to lose a game like the Ducks did to UC Irvine, but they still won that tournament in Las Vegas over the weekend. They're 10-2 overall. They've lost one home game. It was a rivalry game. You don't want to lose any game. I get it. But Waz always says this, that's baseball. And now against Purdue, it's a Friday 1 o'clock start to Big Ten conference play. Ryan will be out there with them as I've got basketball this weekend. We'll see you for another edition of Duck Insider tomorrow. Nate Biddle will be with us.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting.